I now call to order the February 15th, 2024 regular public board meeting. First, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, Mr. Testa, will you please do the roll?
Dr. King?
Present.
Dr. Larson?
Here.
Ms. Lee?
Here.
Dr. McKay? Mr. Schwartz?
Here.
Dr. Shelton?
Here.
Ms. Vitale? Ms. Snodgrass?
Here.
Ms. Wiedemann?
Not here yet.
Okay.
I think we also have some goals and mission statement that will be read.
We do. The mission of the School District of Haverford Township is to educate and to inspire a community of lifelong learners who become well-rounded global citizens.
The 2020 to 2025 district goals are social and emotional wellness, to produce a community of empathetic and resilient learners with skills to socially and emotionally flourish, prepare contemporary citizens, modernize and expand learning experiences to prepare students as critical thinkers, problem solvers, innovators, and designers within a complex global society, and diversity and inclusion, to establish a culturally diverse and inclusive educational experience that develops socio-cultural proficiency.
Thank you. Next, I will accept a motion to approve the official minutes from the February 1st, 2024 regular board meeting.
Person moved?
Shelton, second.
Moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next part of our agenda is a report from our students. And first, we will have our HMS student representative, Zora Alvarado.
Good evening. My name is Zora Alvarado, and I'm happy to be here this evening to update the board on what is happening at Haverford Middle School. The winter sports season ended last week, and our teams had a great season full of learning, success, and opportunity. A spring sports meeting for student athletes is scheduled for March 5th at the auditorium at our school. Ms. Viola and Mr. Haran provided families with an informative video and a PowerPoint presentation regarding the upcoming sports season. Coaches and players alike are looking forward to the upcoming spring weather and the start of the sports season. Next week, our 8th graders will work with high school administrators and school counselors to start making plans for moving up to high school and making schedules. The high school staff has been talking to the middle school staff about making plans for students. This week, information will be given to the students and their families about the transition process, and next week, staff from the high school will visit classes, talk with students, and begin the scheduling process. At the Upper Marion High School on Friday, a group of students and teachers will be taking part in the Middle School Leadership Institute put on by the Delaware Valley Consortium for Equity. The student leaders will be taking part in leadership workshops, establishing connections with their peers and developing their own skill sets. Tonight, our theater group is giving a sneak peek of our spring musical, Willy Wonka Jr. It begins on February 29th and ends on March 22nd. Information about tickets and showtimes can be found on Mr. Haran's weekly family meeting PPT. I won't say much, but I will say I'm in the play and I think we'll have a great show. President's Day will be observed on Monday, and staff and students will have a day off from school to celebrate. Thank you so much for listening and allowing me to present this evening. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you. Seems like a busy time at the middle school. And next, we have our HHS student representative, Austin MacConnell.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be back here tonight to yet again share events from our coveted high school. First and foremost, let us celebrate the electives fair. This event stands as a beacon of opportunity in our academic journey, offering us a comprehensive overview of the courses available for the upcoming semesters. We completed the electives fair last Friday in the morning. It offered a chance for us to explore our interests, plan our schedules, and chart our educational paths with guidance from our dedicated advisors and esteemed faculty members. The fair not only provides vital information about course requirements and potential career pathways, but also fosters a supportive environment where dialogue flourishes and opportunities abound. I personally was able to go around and discuss with teachers some of the classes new to next year, such as the American elections class, in which you get to host your very own election, including voting, debate, campaign, and much more. Luckily, this class only comes around once every 4 years and fills up very fast, so I'm praying to get in. Next, let's take a moment to applaud the incredible achievements of our girls basketball team. They just beat Conestoga in a 44-30 win, securing their spot as the champions of the Central League. Their presence alone in the finals is not just a testament to their athletic prowess, but also a reflection of their unwavering dedication, teamwork, and resilience. These young women have emerged as inspiring role models, showing us the importance of perseverance and determination in achieving our goals. And we should let their journey inspire us all, whether athlete or not, to pursue true excellence. And how can we forget the remarkable success of our swimming team? The boys specifically secured second place in the Central League. Their achievement serves as another shining example of talent, commitment, and the values of teamwork, sportsmanship, and resilience instilled by their coaches and mentors. Let us celebrate their triumph and take pride in their accomplishments, knowing that they also represent the best of what it means to be a Haverford student athlete. Of course, we must also cherish those unexpected moments of joy, such as a snow day, when we wake up to a winter wonderland and embrace the opportunity for relaxation and fun. However, at Haverford, we are not known for wasting time, and our students diligently caught up on all of our missed work. Let us not overlook the sweet melodies of our singing Valentines by our choral students during school yesterday, which spread love and joy throughout our community, strengthening bonds and fostering connections among classmates and friends, which coincides with several displays of kindness for Kindness Week by our very own No Place for Hate Club. Personally, my highlight of the week was finalizing my schedule for senior year and preparing for my future. Thank you all for allowing me to present another successful week at Haverford High School.
Thank you, and very exciting about the girls' basketball team indeed. The next section of our agenda is the superintendent's report, and I'll hand it over to Jen Saxa.
Thank you so much. So a couple of, start with that. Thank you so much. Just a couple of announcements prior to presenting our two presentations this evening. I was going to say best of luck to the girls' basketball team, but clearly they already got that luck because as we just heard from Austin, they did win, so congratulations to them. A quick public service announcement, as you also heard Austin mention, if you have a child who is going to high school next year, course selection guide has begun. So, as was presented to the board previously, there's a wide variety of courses available to students at every grade and in every interest level. So we encourage students and families to look carefully through that over 100-page guide that this board approved to find some courses that are just right for them. A second public service announcement. We do want to remind families of students who ride buses that there is an app called the Stop Finder app, which allows you to track your children's bus accurately and in real time. So if that's not something you've already signed up for, go ahead and look in your email because there should be something from Stop Finder so that you can sign up for that. And if you need any assistance or you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to our transportation department at transportation@haverford.net. So please consider signing up for that. Just a friendly reminder, as you heard, we do have an early dismissal day tomorrow for students, and our schools and offices will be closed on Monday to honor President's Day. Finally, the board's second community conversation will be held at the end of this month. The Haverford community is all invited to an informal chat with some of our school board members. That will occur at Linwood Elementary School. It's not only for parents or guardians from Linwood, it's for anyone. And it occurs on February 29th at 7 p.m. So we are excited about that opportunity. I can't say I'm as excited because what I'm very excited about this evening is the Willy Wonka Jr. presentation. As we know, our middle school will be putting on that show. I believe it's 3 nights over the last weekend in February, right? And so here to share with us the high school music preview. Do we have Mrs. Telvecchio? Are you going to announce anything, or are we just going to go for it? We're all right. We're going to do it. They can do it. All right. So without further ado, we present our Willy Wonka Jr. musical.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it.
I thought life could be anything but catastrophe, but suddenly I begin to see a bit of good luck for me, because I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden twinkle in my eye. I never had a chance to shine, never a happy song to sing, but suddenly half the world is mine. What an amazing thing, 'cause I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden sun up in the sky.
You just try to stop.
I never thought I'd see the day when I would face the world and say,
Good morning, look at the sun.
I never thought that I would be slapped in the lap of luxury.
God has said it couldn't be done.
But it can be done.
Yes, it can be done.
We never ever dared to think that there would be a golden time, the thing in the glorious golden blink, our lungs were glass of wine. I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket to make my way. And with a golden ticket, it's a golden day.
I was just going to say thank you to the board for giving us the chance for our kiddos to come and present to you. They've been working since November to get ready for their show, February 29th, March 1st, March 2nd. So we are close to a sellout for our opening night, which is super exciting. So thank you to them for giving us a chance to come present.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. What a wonderful preview performance. So we can still get tickets, golden or otherwise, it sounds like, to some of our performances. We're so excited to see you in that performance, and thank you for being here this evening. And thanks to all the families for all that time that gets put into rehearsals and picking them up and all of those things. So thank you to the community for this. We very much appreciate it. Great. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Great. As this group is transitioning out, I would like to welcome to the podium, we have another presentation. We have some representatives from Chatham Park Elementary School. I believe that starting us off will be Dr. Jabari Whitehead, and he is joined by Dr. Tom Sherbinko and Mrs. Rachel Johns. We are excited to have them present about a program that occurs at Chatham Park. I believe, yep, can head right over to the podium. I believe that this is the first official year that it's been kicked off, although it may have been happening informally. And we're going to hear a little bit about peer observations on the part of our educators. So as soon as we get our AV ready for you, Dr. Whitehead, you can go ahead and begin.
All right. First of all, how many follow behind Willy Wonka? You know, good and well. Now, I do love me some Willy Wonka, actually. They did a wonderful job. I'm very excited. Let me get this started here. All right, thank you. First of all, good evening, school board and the Haverford Township community. Thank you for this opportunity to present to you this evening. This is a little bit departure from our typical student presentations, but I do believe that it's very important to honor the work and show value for the work of the people you serve with every day. So to move forward about our peer observation journey, first statement I'd like to make is about the power of identity and how our identity really is formed by the foundations of relationships and experiences that we've had prior in our journey to this point. And what it does for us is set this foundation. And for me, I had an opportunity early in my teaching career to be mentored and be partnered with the Maryland State Teacher of the Year, Nancy Phillips, when I was a second grade teacher at Maryland Eastern Shore. So that really sticks with you as far as what your belief system is about the importance of mentoring and seeing each other in the work. So the why, I want to present to you our why. Our goal as leaders is to conduct ourselves as transformational leaders. And the why behind the work is not only about transformational leadership, but the fact that transformational leadership, components of it, really mitigates and mediates self-efficacy and collective efficacy. I'm not going to talk about all the components of transformational leadership, but in bold, you see intellectual stimulation and individual consideration, which is out of the four components from Bernard Bass's seminal work on transformational leadership. And then the four components of self-efficacy, what we're just taking the focus of the master experience and vicarious experience, which is for Albert Bandura's work on social cognitive theory of self-efficacy. So we want to always show the research behind the why, so it's just not a me thing, it's about how this work is grounded. Intellectual stimulation, obviously we want to promote, problem solvers. Teachers, when they leave the house every day, they want to make sure that they're engaged in meaningful work. And that's something we want to promote. We want to make sure that we continue to make sure they have a chance to connect with vibrant work, to do work that is attractive to them. And we want to have a place where we want to encourage risk-taking and experimentation. And also the importance of vicarious experience through self-efficacy is that it's important that when you're doing the work that you're able to see that it can be successful through your colleagues, through your peers, and that's what this experience is about as well. Some of the other reasons why we're doing the work from a leadership perspective, as a principal, we know it builds leadership capacity. Not only is it my job to be the school leader, it's important that we build leadership, people who can lead across, lead upward, and lead downward. And we have that. In Chatham Park, I believe that we are leader full. And that's a phrase I use quite often. I'm very fortunate to serve at Chatham Park with this community. The culture of continuous learning, want to promote. And then because we're compared worldwide through the TIM studies about world-class schooling, you would not look at any case study dealing with Singapore, Finland, or even Japan, even Germany, without identifying the linchpin of peer observations and mentoring as part of the work. For me, as far as being a school principal, it keeps me in the classroom. I get to have opportunity to cover the class when the teachers are engaged in peer observation, so I get to go in. It's really a cheat code to principal happiness. Is be able to go in the classroom and be amongst the kids, be a part of the conversation, stay connected. And the Chatham Park community, whether it's the parents or whether it's the teachers, they know the phrase "better us, better them," because no matter where we are, for the children to be well, the adults must be well, and that's often part of our identity. So I'm going to close my mouth and bring up the people who are really doing the work, people in the trenches. So Dr. Tom Shabenko and Rachel Johns, and they're going to take over from here.
Thank you.
Just click the big circle.
Yeah. School Board, Mrs. Axel, good evening. I also have to point out that Austin and Zora, our student representatives, are Chatham Park alums, and they truly did make the building a special place to teach and learn. I'm not surprised to see them here tonight because they made an impact years ago at Chatham Park. So good evening to you too. I want to start off because I think it's a powerful statement, but a simple statement, that when schools are driven by professional learning communities, it starts from a simple idea that students learn more when their teachers work together. And that term professional learning community is a term that means that we are taking our profession seriously and that we meet and we research and we take the time to support one another. And obviously, that is the goal of this evening's presentation. Some basics I wanted to share with you just so you understand the nuts and bolts of the process. Early in the school year, Dr. Whitehead and I shared the goals and potential benefits with the staff. And there was a certain protocol that we followed. Teachers were encouraged to sign up on Sign Up Genius to either observe or be observed. And during our monthly meetings, staff meetings, I called them maintenance meetings. We just had a couple people share their observations, shared with the staff what they gained from the experience of observing others or being observed. And behind the scenes, it's important to maintain the momentum. And it's not just at those meetings, but it's the conversations in the lunchroom, it's the conversations in the hallway. And I thought that I was surprised by how much momentum we were able to gain, not just maintain, but to improve upon. And very successful. And collaboration within the staff is something we can highlight with peer observation. First of all, teachers would agree to be observed, and importantly, after and before that, they would set goals. With the person that they would observe, they might say, I want to look at your classroom management. I want to see how you're approaching the math curriculum. I want to see how you're teaching foundations or fundations. And so the teacher would be aware of the process and afterward have time to meet and discuss. And that is really the linchpin of the process because it's the reflection on our practice. It's the reflection of the experiences that we have and we share that are important and lead to that reflection process. We really do see that peer observation is low risk and high reward. It doesn't demand years of professional development. It doesn't demand additional funding. It can be self-contained within a building, but it also easily can be scaled across the district, across other buildings. And that low risk and high reward you can see in the impact on professional learning and student achievement. And then finally, it could be quite flexible. It could be a middle school or a high school or other elementary building. If they have a particular need, that peer observation can go a long way. And as far as peer observation is concerned, the primary goal, of course, is one and two, increase student achievement and then improve teacher learning, because we all recognize there's always something more for us to learn. And there's some applications that we can also see. Mentoring programs, which are important to the school district. Using peer observation is already embedded within that program, but building on that and adding observations and adding to the mentoring program is always going to benefit the school district. New curriculum is always cycled through the district, through review, and that could be a challenge for teachers and administration to make sure that is successful. And we can see that peer observation would be a way of impacting that. And then altering our pedagogy. For example, there's a movement now in mathematics that we call defronting the classroom. And Rachel and I and Dr. Nesbitt have been meeting regularly about defronting, which means that you're allowing students to be more of the center of attention. You're allowing students to take control of their learning, and you're not in the front of the room talking to the group, and you're changing but instruction. And that just takes a bit of practice and some reassurance. So it's through some of the books that we're reading from certain authors, and Rachel and I conversing about it, and it's quick, and the impact on our pedagogy is quick but meaningful. And through observation, we can share those changes and how they don't have to be always so challenging. So as you can see, we've been very fortunate. We've made dozens of observations at Chatham Park, within the building, other elementary buildings as well, and even the middle school. And we're going to see some quotes in a couple of minutes after Rachel speaks about how collegiality is impacted. I think the words from other teachers, just besides us, mean a great deal. How student learning, classroom management, and curriculum mastery are all components that can be impacted by it. And so I asked, and Dr. Whitehead asked the staff to share some of their thoughts and feelings after a couple of months of taking on the peer observation process. And I love the first one, that it makes you think about and evaluate your teaching and the techniques and routines in your classroom. That's our pedagogy. That's what drives instruction. A younger teacher said, I got to view the younger children and the slightly older children in foundation lessons, and it was nice to see the patterns and commonalities in the classrooms. Another set of quotes, a great way to see what is working for other teachers. That's the professional learning component. And also, it would also encourage teachers to try new things in the classroom because it's maybe not as threatening. And I know Rachel has really taken the lead, and she would like to say a few things about her process that she's been able to experience.
Good evening. I am Rachel Johns, and I am a 5th grade teacher at Chatham Park Elementary. I believe that collaboration between teachers is essential. My teammates and I, Tom and others, casually collaborate all the time as we share experiences, we chat at lunch, and we often ask each other for feedback on ideas and strategies. Tom and I discuss math instruction strategies regularly and often have aha moments as we chat in our classrooms. This daily collaboration is crucial. However, more formal peer observations take this team idea to the next level. I have been participating in the peer observation program this year, and I have found it encouraging as a teacher and helpful as a professional. One benefit is building more partnerships and increasing collaboration between colleagues. I visited the 3rd grade classroom of Mike Casey. I'm working on visiting the 4th grade classroom of Christy DiValerio. There's been some weather delays and things happening. I've also visited Haverford Middle School twice. I observed Nate Oxman in a 6th grade math class and Kristen Luckshire in an 8th grade math class. It was coordinated by our math coach, Lauren Schaefer. These visits and observations have been a way for me to build relationships with colleagues that create connections and partnerships across grades and even across schools. In addition to this is the advantage of getting to see how math strategies and skills grow and develop over multiple grades. I was able to see tape diagrams being taught in 3rd grade, and then also I see how they work in 5th grade. And then I was able to go into 6th grade and see how they're used there. And so to see that is really helpful. Another benefit is getting ideas to revamp lessons and activities to increase engagement, growth, and achievement for students. I recently read the book that Tom mentioned, Building Thinking Classrooms in Mathematics by Peter Liljedahl, and I've been purposely seeking out others who are also introducing these strategies from the book into their math classroom. I shared the vertical whiteboard strategy and how I've incorporated it in my classroom with Ms. DiValerio, and I hope to return the favor by visiting her soon. Connected to this is an increased willingness to try new strategies. I recently visited the 8th grade classroom to see how Mrs. Luckshire is using the vertical whiteboards in her class. I observed her students working on review problems in randomized groups, and I noticed some differences from how I'm using the spaces in my classroom. I have been switching up the randomized group for each question, and she had them stay in the same group the whole time. I'm planning on incorporating what I saw in her classroom into mine as a way to mix it up. Seeing something in action makes it feel much more attainable to try myself. Lastly, peer observations can lead to helpful feedback from various sources, teachers, coaches, and administrators. It's important to be open to being observed, as well as to put forth the effort to observe others. I hope that peer observations can continue to grow and be a significant part of Chatham Park and the School District of Haverford Township. Thank you.
And to conclude, I just wanted to share a few more quotes from staff members. This one really struck me because we have behavior specialists or special education, and that presents its own challenges. and we had some teachers observing other emotional support classrooms. And I love to see how they were able to work together. And I love the second part where they had a few minutes after the lesson was completed to share how paraprofessionals can help in the classroom as well. And that reflection piece at the end is vital, because if Rachel and I are observing one another and we just go back to our rooms and don't share and reflect, it kind of defeats the purpose. And that was terrific. And collegiality, the second quote, having peers in my room who are focusing just on the learning occurring with my students made me feel so positive about my teaching. It's a difficult job at times. And to have someone to come in and give you that reinforcement and say, I see those same challenges, I hear those same challenges all the time, and then it leads to those casual conversations and how you can address some of the issues you might be experiencing. And that fourth word, empowering, I think is what we all strive for. Again, it's a challenging situation at times to be in the classroom, and to be empowered by our peers and our colleagues goes a long way. Some staff reflected on the idea about next year and continuing the journey of peer observation. And one staff member even went as far as suggesting it might be a great flex opportunity, Mrs. Saxa, and observing and having time afterward to collaborate, which would be terrific. Someone came out and said that I think Jabari should continue the program because there's always something to learn from others. And I love that last one. In closing, I was surprised how valuable 20 minutes of a peer observation can actually be. So again, low risk, high reward, and I think you can see it through the staff members' feelings and emotions about it. And I just want to end where we started. PLC-driven schools start from a simple idea. Students learn more when their teachers work together. Okay, so thank you for your time tonight and your attention, and thank you very much.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing out on this work. Teaching, as those of us who have been in the classroom know, can be a very siloed profession, and having these opportunities to break down that fourth wall, to work with your peers, to develop your practice, to be treated as a professional, really, I just wish there were more opportunities across the board for that kind of work. So thank you so much for taking this on. My other question is this something that you're hoping to eventually present at a conference or publish in a professional journal? I feel like this is the kind of work, like this is the model PLC, right? It's a great example of what can happen when PLCs go right and when they're implemented with fidelity.
I think key for us has been, we're in the exploration phase and we're still continuing to gain buy-in. What Tom didn't mention a little bit was that while we do Sign Up Genius and I might cover classes and coordinate with some of the coaches like Lauren Schaefer, there's also teachers taking their own time to make it happen, whether it's on their prep or finding ways to get it done. Also, we might even stack different, like 20 minutes, top 20 minutes, or a whole block, so a teacher can even travel to another district. So we've been able to coordinate some of that as well. So we're still in the phases of this is to learn and explore. And over time, right now, it's about continuous improvement. If indeed opportunity to share out our learning, we never turn that down. but right now, the goal is it's about that low risk and continuing to explore. And one thing that's really critical is that flexibility, because Tom and I got engaged looking at case studies first about how this worked and the research, the background with it. And one key factor was how organic it had to be amongst the teachers so that it can't be hijacked, so that the investment remains, so that, for me, I'm not asking for them to report out to me. I'm not asking for any documentation. If they're doing it, it's amongst themselves. And so it can continue. It's a self-perpetuating cycle, because we do assign mentors as a district as part of induction. However, over time, because self-preservation, life gets hectic, people are in doing the work. But again, this opportunity to see each other continue to grow and provide that master experience. And again, like you said, it can be lonely, but this also revitalizes people as well, rejuvenates the learning experience. So, but again, over time, we would certainly welcome opportunities to share out.
That's great, thank you. And then just thinking, you kind of started to touch on this, but like I can imagine this is a difficult logistical undertaking. So is the expectation that all teachers in the school are participating? Is it a group of teachers? Because then you're mentioning also, Dr. Whitehead, that teachers are giving up some of their own time. So kind of what's the expectation and requirement?
The freedom is really, the freedom has been, I look at my schedule, I think it's an important message from the school leadership that we place value on what's happening in the classroom more than anything else, right? That's where the magic is happening. So if I'm showing to value that, then I'm giving time. The easiest road has been, here's my calendar, here's the blocks of time that I am available to go. And I'm not saying I, because I'll pat myself on the back, but it's about being available to do the work. And all we're asking for teachers, here it is, sign up if you want to. I get to come there to the classroom and be put to service, and you go learn and engage in it. So that's the expectation if it's there. But we don't have a certain number of it. We just ask people to report out, be willing to share. And it's been enlightening for me to be able to walk into a cafeteria or the faculty room and teachers, talking about what they've seen, or when the teachers come back from where they've been, and to see them excited about that they just were grateful to go see a colleague and learn something. And over time, we'll be able to, have it targeted on something that we want to improve and grow on. And also, if we have colleagues that, need more support, areas to grow, we have something that's organic, that trust, in any industry, trust, we operate at the speed of trust.
Thank you so much.
Right.
And as I say, this is great. I appreciate it. As a Chatham parent, I'm happy that we're leading the way. I'm not surprised though, because, we're Chatham Park. We're bulldogs. But I just want to know a question. Are other schools, schools in the area planning, or they approach you to kind of talk about this program and talk about it being implemented in other elementary schools or even middle school or high schools?
Right now, we just explored our own journey. When I brought it up with my colleagues, so it's something that is, everybody sees the benefit in. But right now, again, we're still in exploration phase on our own.
Okay. And also, one thing that's interesting is Mrs. Johns, I believe, you mentioned that you went to a 6th grade class. So we are going to other schools then as well, and kind of pollinating them, if you will, or just, I guess the jump from 5th to 6th grade is a big one, so.
Yeah, I always hear things, you always want to know, are you preparing your students the best that you can? But if you don't see what they're going to have to face in the future, then how do you know if you're preparing them the best that you can be preparing them? So I definitely wanted to see kind of how, sometimes they say they didn't learn things, but I want to see kind of what's being taught in the grades coming up, the 3rd and 4th, and how the strategies are kind of, the foundations are being laid. And I also wanted to see what they were being expected in 6th grade. And it was really helpful to see how they use Zora, how they use tape diagrams, how they're expected to take notes or kind of function in the classroom. So it was just one visit. I hope to go back and see more 6th grade, but it's really helpful to see and have an idea of what they're going to be expected to do to make sure that I can do my very best so that they can be successful.
Great. Thank you. I hope this spreads to other schools in the district. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This was so enlightening, and I think this is a really great example of professionalism on the part of the adults who work in the school district. It really signals, this was a homegrown operation. Dr. White has created the environment, the culture where people feel safe to do this. The endorsement and leadership of teachers like Dr. Sherbenko and Mrs. Johns is what really sort of sets the fire and keeps it going. So I'm really thrilled that they got a chance to showcase this this evening. Our high school also they're in their 2nd year of doing a peer observation program. So just in answer to your question, Mr. Schwartz, they have done that. I believe their goal for the last half of the year is to get 60 observations done. And they've been building on that. That's to beat an old goal. So this is something that is gaining some ground in the district, and we're thrilled to see it at this level and to have such a great example coming from Chatham Park. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
And that concludes all the items I have, Mrs. Snodgrass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is for public comment for items on the agenda. We did not have anyone sign up for that part of public comment. So the next section of our agenda is board reports. The DCCC, is there a report for that one? Was that?
No report.
Dr. Oh, no report, okay. Thank you. And the DCIU?
Okay. So for DCIU, they held their most recent Board of Directors meeting on February 8th. And let's see, we have some updates. In terms of contracts that were approved, there was a contract approved with the County of Delaware, Department of Human Services, Office of Early Intervention, and Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities to continue providing services through July 1st of this past, so 23, 24, so 23 through June 30th of this year. In terms of grants, contracts, leases, purchases, appointments, and services, the board accepted the June 30th, 2023 final audit report for DCIU and the Delaware County Technical Schools, and that was prepared by, get this right, Barbicane, Thornton and Company. The board also authorized the DCIU board secretary to seek nominations for IU board membership for the upcoming term of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027. Haverford is not included in this next round, but we have Chichester, Pendelco, Rose Tree Media, Upper Darby, and Wallingford Swarthmore, so we may see either the recommitment of some members or some new members coming on. We also had an approval to enhance student learning and work experience to support our future educators. There was an approved agreement with the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency, also known as PHEAA, to reimburse DCIU for school psychologist interns. And that's part of the PA Mental Health Education Learning Program in schools, also known as PA Helps. And that is for the 23-24 school year. Also approved was permission for 4 Rosemont College students to complete student practicums in low incidence at DCIU for the second semester of this school year. And additionally, equipment purchases for enhanced training and education of our Delaware County technical students were approved. And those include a MakerBot Method 3D printer package, 10 Mac computers from Apple purchased through a PEPM contract, 6 DXXTR dental x-ray trainers, and a Hunter Automotive Alignment machine with a rack lift. So our students are getting some brand new equipment to enhance their learning experiences. The next board meeting for DCIU will be on Wednesday, March 6th, 2024 at 6:45 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. The next section of this board report is for Legislative Council. I think that's usually Dr. McKay, who's not here. So we'll go on.
I attended the meeting, though.
Oh, you did? Great.
Yeah, I have the next 3.
Then
of
you
these.
have, yes,
So,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna kick it to you for a
So
couple
if-
times here.
So if you hate my voice, buckle up. Yeah, so the legislative meeting was yesterday, the phone call. Topic of conversation was governor's budget address. A lot of good stuff in there, mostly good stuff. A couple of minor things that I'll bring up as well as not so good. But the good news is, one of the things he mentioned was cyber charter. And some reform efforts there. Now, I'll point out, these are all just statements of the governor's goals. They don't represent legislation or bills or anything like that. These are all, I don't say fake numbers, but they're all fake numbers, more or less. But they are a good statement of goals. Now, cyber charters, this was, as most of us know, Larry Feinberg's, our former board member's pet issue, and he's probably forgotten more about cyber charters than I'll ever learn in my lifetime, but I'll give it a shot. PSBA in the past has asked for a cap on cyber charter tuition. Cyber charters are able to charge pretty much whatever they want for tuition. They don't have the same costs as brick and mortar charter schools or as, at public schools. They don't have charges such as busing, utilities, those kinds of things. Yet often their rates are a bit higher. So for a long time now, PSBA has been asking for a cap on what they're able to charge per student for tuition. I believe PSBA's level had been a $5,000 cap with a tiered system for special education to provide more funding for students with those needs. The governor in his address proposed an $8,000 cap. He did not include anything tiered about special education. That's one thing that would have to be, I think, discussed going forward. but that would save school districts throughout the Commonwealth about $262 million. So that's one thing that is, in line with PSBA's goals and objectives. Other big piece of good news is that he wants to increase funding for public schools by $1.8 billion with a B, which is a lot. And much of that, I think the majority of that actually would go to our distressed school districts, and of which we know many of our neighbors in Delaware County are in that category. So the savings that they would realize, or the additional influx of money there would be very, very welcome, I think, for many of those districts, helping to close that gap that we all know about. Like I said, that is a number that is out there. It's probably not going to quite be there, but the good news is that there is a major push for public education funding, increased funding for public education. The one bit of other news, he did not mention this in his address, but the governor's on record of supporting expansion of school vouchers. That's something that is generally opposed by PSBA and by a lot of other school districts throughout the Commonwealth. There was brought up at the meeting, there is a resolution that's out there. It was not a PSBA resolution. PSBA wanted this to be a kind of a grassroots effort, but there's a resolution that's been signed by several school districts in, I believe, Berks County, Montgomery County, and a few other areas, which I have passed along to Dr. Rushi and some of the board leaders. It's just a draft resolution to oppose expansion of vouchers for students who are not in distressed areas. So that is something that, it's not on the agenda for this evening, obviously, it just happened, but something that we could discuss in the future moving forward. It's not a departure from what our kind of stance has been over the years, but it never hurts to say it again. So something to consider as we move forward. And that's it for legislative report.
Okay.
Move on to
Thank you, please, yes.
PSBA?
Also back to you for Finance and Facilities Committee, or no,
This
first
PSBA.
PSBA.
Yeah, that one's short, don't worry, that one's very short. Two things for that. One, Advocacy Day is set for this year on April 8th. In the past couple of years at least, there's been a virtual option. I have not seen a virtual option yet. So I'm assuming that this year we're going to Harrisburg. So set the calendar for Monday, April 8th. If you want to sign up for that, you can do that on PSBA's website. You can talk to me as well. I'd be happy to help with that. Other thing I wanted to point out is that for anybody who's interested, on March 19th, there is a school safety summit. It's taking place, it's an all-day event taking place at PSBA headquarters in Mechanicsburg. So I'm not the most convenient thing in the world. I'm considering going. If anybody else wants to attend, please give me a heads up. I'm hoping I can attend that one. Something that's near and dear to my heart, but that's the main happenings on PSBA.
Okay, and finally, Finance and Facilities Committee meeting.
Okay.
Back to you, Mr. Schwartz.
Once again, all right. So at the meeting that just happened last week, Jamie from PFM came in to discuss some of the financing options. We are beginning to start our new capital improvement program. So Jamie was here to talk to us about how to finance that. The good news is that despite the interest rates that have been going up, if you've watched the news, interest rates are going up. The bond market, however, is still very, very favorable. And because of our good credit rating, it's favorable for us as well. In fact, Jamie has brought up some refinancing that we could do for our existing debt, and then talked about some of the interest rates that we could take advantage of to secure some of this new debt. It would be over the course of 2 years, the number that he used was $30 million, $15 million in 2-year stints. There's a reason for that. It's very complex. It's in the presentation. Our budget is not that much for our capital projects that we have right now, but those numbers, of course, can be adjusted. But there's, I'm not going to go in detail about that. Jamie is very good at explaining this stuff. I am not a finance person at all. It's difficult. It's very complex. There's tax implications, all sorts of things, but he walks through it very well. I'm not even going to try to emulate him, because if you really are interested in watching it, he does a very, very good job. The other thing that we discussed with Jamie was the Inflation Reduction Act and some of the implications that may have for our investigation of solar power. on some of our schools. PFM does do some of these grants. The IRA, in case you're unaware, is one of the parts of that bill was you can save school districts because we are not taxed, we are a taxing entity, we can't realize tax savings from solar power. So this bill put out there a 30% savings for schools. It's basically a payment to schools to use that money to help install and defray the costs of installing solar. So in the past, we have looked at power purchase agreement options. We have explored lease to own. We've explored purchasing outright and trying to look at the finances for that. With this, new bill, these new savings, and because we have some new board members as well who weren't around for those, I think it would be very helpful for PHM to discuss or to investigate some of those options, and I guess we'll be hearing more about that as things move forward. The other things that were discussed at the FNF meeting were the some of the new bus purchases for the new propane buses that we are getting. They also showed off a new snow removal device that they've added in down there. It's like a big car wash, more or less, for the buses to get snow off the roofs. They actually showed after our first snowfall, they had a heck of a time going up there and cleaning off the roofs of these buses. If you ever drive behind somebody who's not cleaning off their car, it can get messy and a bit dangerous. So we, of course, being responsible, go up there and clean them off. It takes a while. It's not easy. So we have gotten a piece of equipment now that will help to make it a little bit easier. And there were some informational items on there as well. We saw our budget summary reports, which are very helpful. I'm thrilled that we've started to be able to see those to kind of check our status for our finances on a regular basis. We are putting out a solicitation for proposals for copies and print management. There is something on the agenda this evening for fiber services that we'll be voting on. And just an informational item, we learned that TD Bank is no longer accepting branch payments for taxes. Believe that's it. There's a lot there. So if I missed anything, I do apologize. But it's all on the YouTube channel.
Thank you. All right, next will be our curriculum and pupil services meeting, and Dr. King will have the report.
All right, so first off, it was a very robust meeting. There's no way I'll be able to capture or summarize, but I encourage everyone to go make sure you check YouTube and go back and watch the recording to ensure that you're getting a full picture. And so lots of things came up in that particular meeting. One of the many things that was discussed was the PVAS, which Pennsylvania Value Added Assessment System. And so when you think about PVAS, think about student growth and measuring the impact of instruction, looking at their current achievement compared to their prior achievement, and considering how students are performing among others in the state, which allows for a source of projection. And so some of the things that were highlighted as it relates to the PVAS, it talked about growth compared by subject and by district. It looked at different subgroups and how Haverford students are performing within those subgroups across a variety of different subjects. Some highlights from the PVAS were the Keystone results, district students with IEPs, as well as district students that identify as Black or Hispanic, met or exceeded their growth potential. It looked at 12 out of 13 and that 12 out of 13 students in that measurement. Some focus areas would be the 4th and 5th grade math and ELA. And so as a part of the presentation that the staff and administration gave, talked about what are the things that they're doing to improve, where are there opportunities to do better, how to continue those highlights, and more so just making sure they're meeting the needs of our students as they're continuing to use these measures to inform how they're providing instruction. There was some discussion regarding the RIT and the MAP growth, as well as Ames Web Plus, which is a universal screening tool. That took potentially, or possibly, I'll say, the first half of the meeting. The second half was a very robust discussion regarding homework. And so for those of you in the community who have been following, when it came time for the policy committee to look at the existing homework policy, a part of that robust discussion that the policy committee had was we wanted to know how is this policy reflective of the current practices, and really just getting feedback from the teachers that are actually assigning homework. And so I appreciated that the district came back with, this is what we've talked about, this is what we've learned. And that truly is what that second half of the meeting captured. It certainly spoke to, these are the reasons why homework is great and why we need it. And these are some of the particular challenges when we're talking about having these very specific requirements as it relates to homework. There was certainly a highlight in terms of the complex and various considerations and perspectives. But the takeaway was that homework should be meaningful and that it should be completed independently by the student. And so when you're thinking about what does homework night look like from one household to the next, that might always be the case. And so while teachers have no way of knowing what resources may be available in the home, that is something that they're certainly considering when they're giving these homework assignments. And so there will be ongoing discussion related to how homework will be assigned and how it's going to be continue to be practiced before that discussion comes back to the policy committee, and possibly even revisiting again the curriculum committee. The next curriculum committee meeting will be March the 14th, following the finance committee. That's it.
Yeah, thank you.
I got it.
Thank you. The next item of this section is for the policy committee, and that committee will be meeting next Thursday, February 22nd. Finally is the board president's report. In this case, it's going to be the vice president report. And I think the only thing was actually something from me anyway. I was able to go to the Linwood Literacy Night. I think it was last week. It was carnival themed. It was packed door to door. There were a lot of really excited kids, really fun games in each classroom, a nice little scavenger hunt type activity for the kids. My kids particularly enjoyed the photo booth. So I want to thank the staff and all of the parents who helped out at that literacy night. It was really a joy, and what a great celebration of reading in our district. I know that at least one of our board members also attended a very important basketball game as well. So, and we were happy. Austin stole your thunder, so he already gave us the score.
It was pretty great. So yes, my apologies for being late. I played the mom card one more time to go to the Central League Championship, and it was pretty great. I do have a couple other things to add to the board president's report. Dr. Larson and I were able to attend the Chestnut PTO meeting, continuing the board's making the rounds of the various PTOs throughout the district and finding an opportunity to explain what the board's function is, the things that we're focused on, and to lay out some of the future activities and ways in which we can partner with the school community, get their input, and answer questions. So that is always a nice opportunity, and look forward to several more PTO meetings that we'll visit throughout the year. I also got a report of the Wellness Committee met last week, and there were updates from the elementary, middle school, and high school, and the food and health services also provide updates of all the many goings on within the schools to promote healthy lifestyles and mental and emotional wellness. And there was an additional presentation on the Lakeside supports and what a positive impact they have had on students. Dr. McKay is our representative from the board to the Wellness Committee. And I just wanted to remind folks, there's been announcements in the Haverford happenings that the board is hosting a second upcoming community conversation on February 29th, and that will be held at Linwood. So it's an opportunity, one, to come and hear from and talk to board members, and two, to peek inside our still quite new Linwood Elementary School. If you haven't had a chance to do that, we'll be meeting in the lobby area with a great view into the gym and some of the other amenity spaces right there. So welcome folks to turn out for that. There's we ask that if you can to respond and let the Anna Deacon and others in our administration know how many to expect, and that might be so we can have enough cookies and snacks. Thanks.
Thank you. The next section of our agenda is for finance and facilities matters. And the first item is the bill list. So I will accept a motion to approve disbursements for payment totaling $1,034,672.40.
Person moved.
Schwartz, second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Section B, I will accept a motion to approve the agreement between the Crown Castle and the School District of Haverford Township for 10 gigabytes of lit fiber services as part of the current E-rate year. District cost after E-rate discount is $73,119.60, beginning July 1st, 2024.
Larson moved.
Schwartz, second.
Any discussion?
I just had a question about, is there a schedule, or is that a yearly amount, or it wasn't clear, or is that
Yes, I see Mr. Anderson in the back nodding his head. Yes, this is an annual
for the
amount.
year?
Yes.
Okay.
Other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Section C, I will accept a motion to approve budget transfers as presented in the amount of $56,375.
Shelton moved.
Larson second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The last section of Finance and Facilities is Tax Assessment Appeal Resolution. I will accept a motion to approve the settlement and stipulation of counsel in the tax assessment appeal pending in the Court of Common Pleas of Delaware County listed below, and authorize counsel and proper officers of the board to execute necessary documents.
Larson moved.
Shelton second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next section of our agenda is for human resources, and the first section is for retirement and resignations.
King moved.
Oh, hold on.
Yep,
I'll
sorry.
accept the motion. I'll come back.
Thought you were done.
I will accept the motion to accept the following retirement and resignations as listed.
King moved.
Vitale, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is for appointments. I will accept a motion to approve the following appointments as listed below, contingent upon receipt of all necessary clearances, including Act 168 of 2014.
Larson moved.
Shelton second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Section C, leave of absence. I will accept a motion to approve the following leave requests.
Schwartz moved.
Larson second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Right, the final section for human resources is for Prudent RX Memorandum of Understanding. I will accept a motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding between the School District of Haverford Township and the Haverford Township Education Association.
Larson moved.
Shelton second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
For the benefit of the public, could we get a bit more information about this MOU?
I'm really excited to talk about Prudent RX because we've been in this discussion since last year about it. So Prudent RX provides valuable assistance to our members who are dealing with the rising cost of specialty medications. By enrolling in Prudent RX, our members are going to have a $0 copay, and it's also a cost savings for the district as well. So neighboring districts that have already implemented the program are Garnet Valley, Chester Upland, Marple Newtown, DCIU. So we feel other districts will be in the program as well too. So it's going to be beneficial not only for our members, but the district as well too. So really excited.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that additional information.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next section of our agenda is for pupil services, but we don't have anything to discuss tonight. So we'll move on to curriculum and instruction. And the item there is for student educational excursions. I'll accept a motion to approve I'll accept a motion to approve the student educational excursions as listed below.
Shelton moved.
King second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All right, we have the high school swim teams going to district championships in, I think, next week. So congratulations and good luck. And we have the high school robotics club, approximately 30 students attending a competition at Lehigh University. So good luck there as well.
Need to bring the robotics club back for a demo. That was
Yes.
much fun last year.
Maybe
And
that'll
good
be
luck to the
a
swim team.
requirement. Any addendums to this?
No, but good luck to both groups.
Absolutely. Good luck to both. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next section of our agenda is for policy. And first, we have a policy 602, budget planning practices and procedures. So I'll accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 602, budget planning practices, procedures, and corresponding administrative regulation.
Larson moved.
Shelton second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? I'll take this one. This is the second reading, so it's already been in front of the board twice, and prior to that, it was at the policy committee. There were no revisions to the policy between the first and second reading. This was one of the policies that was combined because it was previously a couple different policies. And so now, instead of having separate policies for budget planning and budget preparation and budget hearing, we have them all together in a much more organized and efficient way, as well as the AR with the specifics of how exactly this policy is going to be administered by the administration. Any other discussion for the board? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have accepted the second reading. The second policy for second reading tonight is policy 707, school facilities use, and I will accept a motion to accept the second reading of policy 707, school facilities use and corresponding administrative regulation.
Schwartz moved.
Larson second.
Right, moved in second, and I'll take the first crack at the discussion again. This is for policy 707, a very important policy. It went through policy committee before it went to a first reading from the board last meeting. There have been no revisions between the first reading and the second reading. And again, as we discussed last time and at the policy committee, this again really just focuses on making sure that there is a clear rule, clear policy for who is going to come in and use our facilities beyond just obviously the school district itself. So if you look at the administrative regulation, it is very clear about the different classes and the different ways that we give priority to the different groups that are coming in and seeking to use our facilities, which, as you might imagine, are many, many groups. So I think this was a really good result from the work of the policy committee. And
I just have one, there's a typo under definitions, class 3. One of the group, scouting organizations is misspelled.
Yes, you're right. And I think, changed that between the policy committee and the first reading to take away Boy and Girl Scouts and just put scouting organizations, but that slight typo has resulted. Thank you, Mr. Shelton. And I think that we can still send it, hopefully, to an adoption next time with that fixed. Any other discussion items on this one?
I'll just add that what the board will be looking at to approve at the third and final reading is the policy itself. We have the opportunity to weigh into the administrative regulations through the committee process and in the earlier readings, because they do provide the more boots on the ground kind of implementation of the policies themselves, but they are not subject to the same approval and can be modified more easily by administration to reflect kind of changes in practice or staff responsible. So just pointing out that these ARs are important to review with the policy, but when we next see them, we'll be just being asked to approve the policy itself.
Thank you for that clarification. All those in favor of accepting the second reading of policy 707?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next section of our agenda is for other items, and I will accept a motion to approve the calendar for the 2025-2026 school year.
Shelton moved.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Ms. Saxa, just a quick question, and I know I brought this up when we looked at the preliminary calendar, because there was a lot of confusion you saw on like message boards and social media. Is the 30th of January, is that what was considered the semester transition day for the high school? It was not marked on the current calendar for this year. Is it a day where students go to school? And I think some parents were caught off guard. Is that what that day would be, the exam makeup day that it's listed, or is that a different day?
That is exam makeup day, and it is used as a transition day in the case that there isn't a student taking an exam. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So I think that is an example of hearing feedback and questions. The calendar contains a lot of information, and the grid to interpret it has gotten a little more complex or nuanced, but I think that will help answer some of those questions about the different schedules, especially at the 3 different levels of our schools. Elementary schools may have conference days when high school students are in attendance. High school has exams or maybe makeup exams. So appreciate the thought that goes into trying to make this as clear and user-friendly as possible while also maintaining all of the district's obligations for number of days of school, the in-service days. There is a lot of logistics to work around to put this together.
And this is actually not for next school year, but the school year after that. So, we do, every year that I've been on the board, we've looked at it well in advance so that families have plenty of opportunity for planning and understanding what the calendar is. Once it is approved, it's made public, it's put on the website. And so again, a lot of advanced planning for our families and as well as our staff as well. So thank you. Any further discussion from the board? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. The next item on our agenda is for public comment. And we had one person sign up. Can I pass it to President Wiedemann for the public comment?
Sure.
Intro?
Yes, public comment is something that the board values to provide essential input into the complex matters that come before the board. It is an opportunity for members of the community to address the board, and our board meetings are always opportunities for us to engage, to model good government and engage citizenship. Our public comment is divided into 2 sections. There was an earlier section for items on the agenda for vote tonight, and this section is for other school board matters. People can review the agenda on the school district website under school board and under board docs. Residents of the township may, in advance of the meeting, sign up to make public comment by emailing publiccomment@haverfordsd.net. Per our board policy, you will have 3 minutes to speak, and at the 3-minute point, a timer will sound and you will be asked to conclude your remarks. Please begin your comments by stating your name and confirming your residency in Haverford Township. If you have materials to distribute, please leave them at the end of the board table. And note that your name and topic of your comments will be included in our meeting minutes, and you're being recorded as part of our meeting broadcast. If appropriate, an administrator or I will follow up with speakers to discuss or respond to issues raised.
Thank you. And the only person to sign up was Christo Garavelis. Does not appear to be in attendance. Is there anyone else here tonight who would like to give a public comment?
I did the whole spiel for nothing.
Seeing none, I'm sorry.
Always a good reminder, always a
Should
good
have called for it before, but always a good reminder of public comment, an important section of our meeting. Okay, the next section of our meeting is for a report on executive session. And the board met prior to tonight's meeting in executive session to discuss a confidential personnel matter. So our next regular public board meeting is scheduled to be held on March 7th, 2024 at 7:30 PM in the boardroom of the Oakmont Administration Building. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And second.
Okay, thank you.
Seconded.